The summer is here. That means outdoor festivals, Comic-Cons, and the perfect weather for toy hunts. As the weather heats up and you're out there enjoying yourself, stay hydrated with our show's sponsor, Liquid IV. Liquid IV hydrates 2 times faster than water alone and 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. And it's easy to use. Just rip open a pouch, pour one of their delicious flavors into a water bottle, and shake it up. With sea berry, strawberry lemonade, Concord grape, lemon lime, pina colada, tropical punch, watermelon, guava, and more to choose from, there is a flavor for everyone. So whether you're on that long toy hunt, spending 10 hours on your feet walking your favorite Comic-Con, or getting your sweat on, stay hydrated and healthy with Liquid IV. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code AICPOD at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code AICPOD at liquidiv.com.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
along with our journeys as collectors. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Hi.
Dave, it has been...
You made it.
Yes.
I thought I was going to have to send out life preservers or a big door.
Oh, yeah, my travel woes. It still feels weird saying it because while I was stuck in Florida, I was stuck at the beach, so I feel bad.
I just meant you were on a boat, and that was I was going to send you a door to float.
A door, some sort of... Oh, you're making a Titanic reference. Now I get it. Sorry, it's late.
Like Jack and Rose.
It's late. Yeah, the waters were really warm, though. I would have been
yeah, that's
would have
true.
been a nice, I would have just laid back, hands behind my head, floated.
All right,
up.
I would have sent you a volleyball.
Better, like it. But it's
you missed some stuff.
So I caught up, and then Comic-Con happened.
You missed a few events.
Oh yeah,
I had to speak in public.
You had to go venture out. You got forced out of the nest. You had to go fly and spread your wings.
I had to be the person who started conversations. It was weird.
So before we are in, unlike our show's usual shtick, we are going to bury the lead for a moment. Just real quick,
sorry guys.
Tell our guests. No. It's okay. They'll be fine. They're good. They're good.
Tell
our
guests or our listeners or both.
Everyone, our listeners.
Okay.
Real quick, just you went to 3 actually events, right? And
I went to 3 things. Days. One toy adjacent. I would say it was a toy event.
It was 100% a toy event.
Okay. So Sweet was first. That was fun. Got to see Pat, who was recently on our podcast. A couple other people. JC, who we haven't had on in a while. It's nice to finally meet him in person.
Yeah. You got to see the Rock Father himself.
Yeah.
Of course.
Who I was on the G.I. Joe thing with.
Yeah, our friend James Zahn, who eventually needs to be on this show.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't yet. Then what was next? The major IPA launch at Bolero Snort Brewery.
Beer and toys.
Got to see Canic and Zombie and Giancarlo and Matt and Brian and Smart Mark and Stang. Talked to a bunch of people.
And then you finished it up with another yearly one.
Toy Pizza Con.
That
was fun too.
You still have my Glyos goods. I need my...
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff for
I
you.
need that new Knights of the Slice in my life. So,
but... Yeah, Jesse and I talked about Sparks. And it was great.
Very good. Very good.
And Christina and I played pinball.
That place is awesome. I'm sad I missed.
Happy Valley, I believe it's called.
In Beacon.
In Beacon.
Beacon, New York. I'm very sad I missed all of those things, but your coverage was
Next
lovely. Your videos and your posts making me all jealous.
Making me literally sweat trying to use the internet.
You make yourself sound so old. And you're not. You're really not. But then, of course, right on the heels of all of that, came San Diego Comic-Con, which brings us to where we are today. And time to introduce our guests. So,
no more burying the
lead. We are here to talk about San Diego Comic-Con, which was a blast from afar, seeing as how none of us here, including our guests, got to attend this year. Maybe one of these years we'll get out there, but brethren of the toy blogging, toy podcasting world, we have Paul and Bill from the Reluctant Adult podcast with us today.
Yes.
Paul, Bill, welcome to Adventures in Collecting, guys.
What's up? I can't follow that.
Still
one
do
up
that?
at all, but hi.
Is that how we still greet each other in 2023?
It anything goes here. I take that back. Not anything goes here, but that fits. We'll take it.
Uh-huh.
We'll take it. Welcome, guys. It's
glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. We failed at being rivals, so let's succeed at being friends. I think that.
Yeah.
We can try that out.
Bitter enemy. What is it from like when Sean and Diesel fought? Like,
good friends, better enemies, or something.
In reverse, it was like good enemies, better friends.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So
that could be our Raven and Tommy Dreamer shirt.
Yes, we need. This will be the podcast heard around the world.
Woo!
Right, instead of the chair. There was the two of them, right? Wasn't it Tommy Dreamer that hit Raven with a chair? Chair shot heard around the world.
So, yeah.
I'm sure that happened at some point in there.
In the steel cage. Yes.
That's like a famous thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Comic-Con, guys, was unique this year in the fact that it was happening during a kind of momentous strike that prevented Hollywood from being a part of Comic-Con for the first time in a long time, which kind of forced the event to go back to its roots, and making it about the comic book artists and the publishers and the collectibles. And boy, there was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff, and then there were some surprises in lack of attention, I guess you could say. And I'm sure we will get into that and maybe the reasons behind that.
Yes. Yeah, there were a couple things that were curiously absent, as well as some things that I think kind of went under the radar. There's a couple things that I saw, like, again, not being there in person, thinking that I was, pulling the coverage from the people that were there as accurately as I could. But there were a couple things that I missed, and I was like, oh, wow, how was nobody talking about this?
Yeah.
And then there were a couple things that were like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
And we will definitely get to. There's one. Oh, that's it. That I think crosses all of our streams here. But I think let's start off with something that did surprise each of us. So let's go around. Let's talk about some of the more surprising things from this year's show. We'll open it up to our guests. So Bill, Paul, was there anything in particular that from this year's Comic-Con that really kind of jumped out at you?
So there's a new company on the block. The former head of Soda, which is a company I always like to refer back to because I love those Street Fighter figures. Jerry from Soda is starting a new company, and I can't remember the name. Do you remember what it was?
They're the ones that had the Bloodsport figures.
Yeah.
It was like something dumb.
Hang on.
It's like Dynamic Syndicate.
I think it's Syndicate. I think it's Syndicate Collectibles.
Yeah, like Ghost Syndicate or something.
And they're actually not even on. Jerry's not even on Instagram with the company. Like, the company doesn't have any social media presence. It's Syndicate Collectibles.
Yeah,
okay,
Syndicate.
There it is. There we go. Yeah, so they showed off a ton of stuff. Those Bloodsport figures, like, I don't know what the final product's going to look like, But I'm always a big fan of like the engineering of the figure and like, does this look like a real person's body? Does it look like it could move? And these look amazing. Like, if this is how the final product looks, and I don't know what scale these are in, but these look fan-friggin-tastic.
They are 7-inch figures.
They say 7-inch, yeah.
Okay,
but
that's great.
Yeah, so wrestling, DC Multiverse, that kind of scale.
Yep.
They really do. And just, to your point, like the way that the abs are cut, especially, I'm looking at the Bolo figure.
Yeah, they kind of have that like ultimate /
Supreme.
I guess ultimate. Supreme.
It's cut where it makes sense on the body. Like, I will say the Ultimates do not have a great cut, but I think the Jazzwares AEW figures do a much better job of using the natural curvature of like the chest to put the cut line in.
Yeah, and I like how and looking at the two of these, like the one on Bolo, how it kind of comes up to like above his, I guess that's his navel, like at like the chest plate, like it really does come up, like it makes sense. It's in a good spot.
Yeah. Yep.
And along with those 7-inch figures, they also had 7-inch figures for True Romance.
Okay, so what is
Ghoulies and Pumpkinhead?
Yeah. But okay, True Romance. I am not even familiar with this.
Really?
So at first, when I saw the 4-inch figures, I was like, "What are these?" So then I saw people talking about them, and it's like these 6-inch or 7-inch figures. They're like people in street clothes, and like I just don't know the movie. So is this one of those things where it's like a cult classic?
Yeah, I would say
yeah.
It's a cult
I would
classic.
say so.
Yeah, it's a film, Dave, and you're gonna have to correct me on this. It's not directed by Tarantino, but he wrote it.
He wrote it, and I believe Tony Scott directed it.
Okay, so this is like 90s, like the middle. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
like early to mid 90s. I feel.
Is Brad Pitt one of the figures? Because I see he's in the cast.
And
I didn't see what that looked like.
Well, Christian Christian Slater is like the lead in it. James Gandolfini's in it. Gary Oldman's in it, and I think that's
that one's good.
I think those are I forget the female lead in it. I'm drawing a blank.
Patricia Arquette.
It is Patricia Arquette. Yeah. So the figures that they have are Slater, Arquette, Gandolfini, Walken, and Oldman are the.
There's this 4-inch line too, 7-inch and 3 3/4. So like they think this is going to be a big license for them.
It's an interesting one. I mean, that's
it's definitely jumping into that, like the 3 3/4 jumping into that reaction.
Yeah. And I think they look good. I think they went the more detailed route rather than, trying to stay faithful to those like 70s Star Wars figures. They had Golden Girls in that 3 3/4 scale, which Reaction did them, I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think
but these look better, I will say, especially Sophia. Like they really captured her expression.
They're good sculpts. Across the board, and I think that Pumpkinhead figure that they showed off,
the Pumpkinhead
looks great, and I mean that's one of those classic.
I don't think there's really been one since McFarlane.
Trick or Treat Studios. So
they did one.
Kane Productions is the guy who does their sculpting work. They announced one at. It might have been New York Comic Con last year, but it hasn't been made available yet. But theirs is more of that kind of that take on Movie Maniacs. It's like mostly statuary with like minimal articulation. And then a property that I know these movies, I have never seen them, but Ghoulies 2 is the other one that not Ghoulies 1, Ghoulies 2.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, not Ghoulies 1. Which is the one that has the famous VHS cover where he's in the toilet? Is that the original?
One.
Okay, yeah.
I think was 2 the one with Leonardo DiCaprio? Or is that 1?
That's a different movie.
Oh, that's Critters.
He's not in
Critters.
Oh, he's in Critters?
My bad.
3.
There you go.
My bad. Yeah, I'm screwing up my my tiny.
Ghoulies 2, I feel like was like
yeah, your Gremlins.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I feel like that was like an mid to late 80s HBO staple.
Yeah. I remember seeing. I remember being young enough, seeing that was like
the like 10 o'clock movie over the summer, like it was coming up next, and I was like, oh, too scary for me.
I don't even think it. I think that was one of those ones that like made mid-afternoon.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely remember seeing it coming up and going, this one's not for me yet.
I think Sven Gulli just covered both of them the past 2 weeks. If you guys are familiar with his show,
I'll have to check it out.
Ghoulies 2 is a PG-13, so that was definitely like a midday. That was because the first one was R, so the second one was like, oh, we want to get people to see this.
Got it. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Then maybe I'm thinking the first one.
I don't know what their thought process was.
first one scared me off. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. So that company definitely. Jerry's work definitely, jumped out, and I think credit to at least the first person that I saw posting anything about it. Toy Shiz was all over it and posting about it. So that's where we picked up the coverage from. That was a surprise. I think if you had told me that one of the big hits from from Comic-Con this year would be Bloodsport Ghoulies and True Romance figures, that would have been all of those would have been a bingo card breaker.
And a lot of those, at least, so I know that, or I believe I saw that the Golden Girls and I want to say True Romance were sculpted, and I always forget his name, but if you go on X, which we used to know as Twitter, he does a lot of the Hasbro stuff. Like he'll always post his 3D renders of that, and he works with DC too.
It's not Paul Harding, right?
Yes, there you go, Paul Harding. Yeah, I believe I saw that he said that he was responsible for those.
Interesting. Yeah, because he does a lot of the G.I. Joe stuff now too.
He does everything. Everything. Yeah, here he is. He said he sculpted them for Syndicate Collectibles. Yeah.
Yep. Paul Harding, super nice guy too. I had the opportunity to chat with him because he also does a lot of work with Diamond Select, and they had him on their panel at New York Comic Con last year, along with a couple of other sculptors, and afterwards I was just kind of chatting with him. Really, really nice guy. So I'm happy to see that his work is starting to be that that present across everywhere.
I'm curious to see what price point is for most of these or for all of these.
Well, if these ever get released, I mean, like, I'll say one thing about this year's Comic-Con. There may be the record for the most things shown that never actually get out into the hands of collectors.
What makes you say that?
Well, let's run down the list. We have Mattel with their Jurassic Park The Gates, which is not happening. Mattel again. They had that Nitro Arena, which has already failed, rubbing salt in the wounds. There's just a few. Anytime and then of course Super 7 with the Cat's Lair, which I am not super confident about, even though I think it's already up a third, which is good, but big heavy price point on that one. So I'm just saying, not to be negative, but just to be a little realistic here. Saw lots of cool stuff. I wouldn't until we see the pre-orders, and even then, as we've seen recently, that's not a guarantee that you're going to have this in your hands.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
It's true.
I think with the stuff from Syndicate, usually on those little placards, usually you get the pending licensor approval, and that can usually mean a little more like, hey, we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit here. Good sign is those, for all of those figures, those seem to be kind of past that point. So fingers crossed, but yeah, it's not looking good for those Jurassic Park gates. I don't know.
No, and I don't know if we'll get into that in depth. We've definitely talked about that on the Reluctant Adult podcast. There's a lot to say, and there are a lot of lessons to be learned from that. The question is whether those lessons will be absorbed, or the lesson from that will be absorbed and used for future offerings.
So while we're on the topic, though, I think because crowdfunding and these crowdfunding projects they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think they are. But
no, they're not going away.
But I think it's interesting because I think there have been enough successes and enough failures at this point where we can now start to kind of go back and like look at the data, right, and see like Something like the Ghost, which just got announced at San Diego Comic-Con, has reached its initial funding goal. So like it's going to happen. Whether it gets all the way up to 17,000 backers in order to unlock the special. Notice how they're also positioning the figures as on special cards. So they're not saying exclusive figures this time. They're saying on.
Well, are these first time in the lines, like for all these characters?
On vintage, in the vintage line. So the members of the Ghost crew previously have only been on the 5 POA 3 3/4 inch figure.
Okay, yeah.
And they're all the animated designs. So remember, with the vintage collection, even if it's something that's based on animated source, they give it a real spin. But they specifically said, and it caught my ear during the presentation when they were announcing it. They said they didn't say exclusive figures. They said on exclusive card backs.
Exclusive presentation.
Which
they did that with Yak Face too, with the sail barge. He was on a Power of the Force card with the coin, and then he was subsequently released on a standard card after that. So I can see where you're going with that.
I think it's protecting them for the instance that it doesn't reach 17,000 backers. Because, I mean, if you buy the Ghost, you're gonna want the whole crew. Like you're it's like you're not gonna be like, oh, we only got to 11,000 backers, so you only get Hera and Ezra. You're never gonna get a Kanan. You're never gonna get a Zeb. Sorry, like it's not realistic. It's not gonna happen.
And
what they're
it's not like you're gonna get burnt like the Razor Crest when like 2 episodes later it exploded.
Well, sure.
Well, you don't know. It's going to be in Ahsoka. We'll find out.
That's the thing, and that's what I was going to say. So like
but these figures, like this, lineup,
the Hera figure that you're getting is oh my goodness, I just forgot the actress's name from Scott Pilgrim. She plays Ramona Flowers.
That's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
It's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Like it's from Ahsoka. It's the Ghost from Ahsoka.
It?
Yeah, it is.
Because we were talking about this, and we thought that it was supposed to represent
I thought it was supposed
these
to
characters during the cartoon, because Ezra looks old as hell to me as the figure, but the character at that time would have been much younger.
That's the special card back, right? So like the card backs on these feature the design from that mural at the end of Rebels.
Right. Yeah.
So presumably somewhere down the line, again, like whatever ends up happening in Ahsoka, I can't imagine you'll get Kanan on a Ahsoka card unless there's some kind of flashback.
Dead, right? He dead.
Spoilers, he's dead. But like presumably, like you could get. We saw Zeb show up in The Mandalorian, so like maybe you get him on a Mandalorian card, maybe you get him on an Ahsoka card, maybe the team comes back together for whatever event happens in the Ahsoka series. But like the ship is from Ahsoka, like it is the ghosts of real life, like that's
as represented in
live action. Yeah.
So well, whether it's one or the other, I mean, it leaves the door open to re-releasing it, I guess, in the other portion. But I think it's smart to put the figures in there that they're going to release those characters another way, because bonus tiers were never intended to give you like integral parts of the Kickstarter. Like these were always supposed to be like fun extra things. If we don't reach them, that's fine. We could still have a complete toy. But it got to this part where even with the proton pack, the fact that the hose was one of the tiers, like, what are you doing? You're going to release this thing? You already have the wand out there. You're just going to have like nothing connecting them. Like, no, you can't do stuff like that. So I applaud them for finding a way to give desirable tiers, but not make it something that if we don't reach it, it ruins the whole thing.
And I think it's smart the way that they worded it, because typically, like, when we were talking to the G.I. Joe team, right, with the Dragonfly, like the reason why they picked the characters that they picked, and like they're transparent and upfront about this, is like the kind of like the rules of engagement for these things are the way that they have set the precedent is like, if we don't make this goal, we don't make this figure. So that's why they're not putting, a main G.I. Joe character
first time in the line in that iconic look.
Yeah.
They're doing the night ops versions of these characters.
Or like otherwise you wind up in the situation that we're in with what happened with Marvel Legends. Like they positioned the classic version of Mephisto, the one that everybody wants in Marvel Legends form, was a tier in that project, and now
or Robbie.
And those figures cannot be made available in that design because of...
Well, I know that's like the offering and that's a way to get people to do it, but like there's nothing stopping. Like legally, what are we going to sue them? You gave us a figure we wanted. We're going to sue you.
It's all about precedent, right? It's just about...
No, I get it. But at this point, all these companies have done this so many times. They're like starting to learn what not to do. Like Mattel a little bit more slowly, I think, as you saw with the WCW tiers.
Yeah.
But still, Hasbro's always been very smart about this. And you're like, to your point, putting it in the wording, saying this is just exclusive card back, protects them from anyone being like, wait a minute, you said.
Yep. Yeah. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, okay.
But it's for the best.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want to miss out. Like, they're going to sell a lot of these, already 8,000, but that pales in comparison to how many single figures you're going to sell at Walmart.
Sticking with surprises, though, going back to kind of that original question, something that honestly I was not expecting, and shout outs to our friend Toy Farce and his borderline toy Nostradamus post from like a year ago. How about a Mr. Freeze Batman and Robin build a figure wave?
Fantastic.
When that came up on the screen, I really thought it was going to be followed by like a just kidding.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that rules.
No, it's honestly it's one of my favorite announcements of the show, but I can't believe it's real.
I think McFarlane, especially with DC, did so well, except for the NFT thing.
Yeah,
but
he needs to let it go, man. He's got to let it go.
At least it's real figures, and it's like real Wonder Woman, or like not real Wonder Woman, but OG Wonder Woman.
Isn't it kind of messed up that like he knows that everyone's been asking for like a classic Wonder Woman for since the line started, and it's like, I'm gonna give you classic.
I don't even think there's
classic Wonder Woman.
It's been like every variation. The closest thing we have to classic Wonder Woman is the movie.
Yeah, people have just wanted their comic.
It's not even been. There hasn't even been like New 52 Wonder Woman, which I would gladly take.
No,
it's been like Metal and
Gladiator,
and the McFarlane design one, which is actually pretty cool. I have it.
Didn't she come with a chainsaw at some point?
No, isn't that the Metal one?
Yeah, it's Dark Knight's Metal. Yeah.
This is my issue with McFarlane's DC line.
It's all Dark Knight's Metal?
Well, if you are collecting this line, there's no sense of cohesion between the releases. It's like you'll get 75 different Bat variants, and like some of them will be really cool. Like there's that Hush Batman that came out, and then there's that other like really nice blue and gray one that they did the repaint of for Comic-Con.
Nightfall,
but there's like you're saying, there's no classic Wonder Woman, and like they just put out the Riddler, but like what Joker do you put with all these guys? Like it's just like it's just so madcap. Like it's so random. Like this is what I imagine the inside of Todd's brain looks like. It just ping pongs off one line to the next.
And
those three Jokers are like your
one of your pink jacket Joker goes with that Riddler. That's the closest thing,
because that original Joker I have, and it's not great.
Yeah, I mean my favorite one. I'm not off of.
I like Skin Mask Joker. I thought that was. I just liked that storyline.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Skin Mask one, when it was like Joker's daughter and death in the family.
Death in the family. Or Death of the Family? I think it's Death of the Family.
Death of the Family, yeah. Death in the Family is
you decide who
From the
you
80s.
decide if Robin dies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll do a Jokerized
Jason Todd.
version of that Joker, and then it'll look more like the Joker.
No, it'll be inverted color. He'll be wearing black with purple accents.
Yeah, they're gonna do Jokerized Sonar Vision Joker, and then it's just the normal figure.
Deep. I had to think about that one for a second. Yeah, no, but it's one of those things where, you know, we stumbled ass backwards into the opportunity to talk to Todd at Toy Fair back in 2019.
Yeah, 2020.
And
I was like, that's right. That's when Toy Fair was in January.
Yes.
Like, it just snuck
We
in there
did.
before everything shut down.
We were at a super spreader event.
Yep.
And
you started
got
the
away
pandemic.
clean.
Yeah, we somehow did not get ill. The thing that you have to remember is everybody who was most of the industry people who were at that Toy Fair had just gotten off of a plane from Hong Kong too. So like it was like it was real.
Yep.
It was real sketchy, but we just didn't know what was going on. But yeah, it was funny because like if you go back and listen to like the little clip that we had of Todd from that where we sat down with him, we were asking questions about the DC multiverse because it had just launched, and literally his answer to every question, and this is no, you know, it
was
yeah,
Batman.
it is. It was like, so you know, you have like this ocean of characters to choose from, and he's like, so imagine if Batman. And then it was literally like, imagine if Batman looked like this, or like if Batman, and I could do whatever Batman I want to do, and we were like, all right.
And I think he like even said like I might even design a Batman.
Yeah. And he did.
Yeah.
You and I, Paul, had a theory that he was just like he pitched the multiverse wave to DC and was like, here, I could do all these characters, and then he was like, yeah, here's the license, and then he's like, got him, now it's Batman.
I know. Yeah. Here comes more Batman.
He is unabashed in his love for the Caped Crusader. So, you know,
and it's, you know, it works for him, and I think it makes sense.
There are some fantastic figures though in that announcement.
Yeah.
That Hawkman looks unreal. Firestorm, which is somebody who I wanted.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you based on what you're trying to accomplish with your DC Multiverse collection, you had a couple of big ones in there for you. So
yeah, movies or stuff that I could say would have been superpowers.
Yeah, because Sinestro.
Well, you can get the actual superpowers. He's making those too.
Well, that was before.
He's too deep in the other one.
I'm too deep.
Oh, you're not gonna get the new superpowers, the new superpowers.
So what's funny is the stuff he's added to superpowers is stuff I don't want in superpowers.
There you go.
Like short of Jon Stewart, like I don't need a Batman who laughs. I don't even know what that is. Like I've never read that.
What goes better with Jon Stewart than Batman who laughs?
90s Nightwing.
Oh,
like Jon Stewart,
the other Jon Stewart. I'm sorry, I got
Jon
confused.
Stewart, incredible ad. Like
90s Nightwing,
but
I'm
90s Nightwing is a great one.
I can't believe that
disco.
Yeah, I love that outfit. I hate it, but I love it.
I wish it was 80s Nightwing with the big collar. Like 80s Nightwing with the 70s collar.
Oh, yeah.
New Teen Titans. No, but it's at least better that like him being in the Nightwing suit that looks like the like circus suit is way better.
I don't know. I like the big gold. And it's the 90s one. But also a 6-pack of Batman.
That's cool.
Did you pre-order that?
I did.
Yeah. I feel like a chump though, because I know that like you already got a double dip on the ones that are released now. And like you already saw the Clooney's come in. The only difference is the cloth capes, which I think are probably going to look like trash. So I feel like I'm buying an inferior product like from the start.
Well, I like the cloth cape on the Flash movie Batman.
Okay, I haven't opened that one yet. So.
It's nice. It's I know this is an audio only podcast, but I happen to have it. Just
the cloth cape on the year.
It's nice.
The year one is great too.
That's pretty large. Yeah, that's better. Okay, well maybe I will hold judgment. Well, he already has my money, so what does he care what I think?
Yeah, my only thing with that said is so like I didn't get Pattinson, So I was like, okay, I have a Pattinson. The Ben Affleck Batman in that set looks awesome. And the only one that I have is the Snyder Cut one with I got the silver or platinum one with the goggles up. So
okay, yeah.
So I'm excited to have just kind of like a normal bat suit. And then
that's it.
And I was going to say, and I was able to get the Flash Batman and the Batmobile. So now I don't have to worry about hunting down that other, the set of the '89 Batman with Batmobile, because I don't need two Batmobiles.
I do.
Well, you can have my pre-order then, Dave.
Oh, you pre-ordered?
Yeah, I have both right now sitting on my Amazon pre-order. So you're welcome to my Batmobile.
You could probably sell the pre-order because Todd keeps being so benevolent and giving us more opportunities.
Well,
he's like, I heard the collectors. Here's another one.
If the pre-order means anything, when I pre-ordered the original Batmobile, mine got canceled. So.
Oh, from Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, that usually doesn't happen. That's like a Walmart.
That's random. That's very random.
No, it got canceled.
Wow.
Damn.
Well, maybe I'm in trouble.
The figure shipped, and I was like, oh, good, the Batmobile should be shipping, and then it got canceled.
I'm sorry, but it worked out better because you're gonna get the better one.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom-and-pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at their brand new home at 101 Newark Pompton Turnpike, Suite 1 in Little Falls, New Jersey, or online at chubsywubsy.com. That's CHUBZZYWUBZZY.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
Rewind and press play on your VHS collection with CGC. CGC is excited to announce our newest collectible vertical, CGC Home Video. As a division dedicated to authenticating and grading your VHS collection, our experts are ready to help you encapsulate your favorite video cassettes. Don't settle for static on the screen. Submit today at cgcgrading.com. That's cgcgrading.com.
Face it, shaker bottles suck. Your shakes always come out clumpy and they're a pain to clean.
You're right, Dave. That's why I decided to ditch my shaker bottle for good and get myself a BlendJet 2 portable blender. It makes perfectly blended shakes in just 20 seconds.
BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease.
BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. It lasts for over 15 blends and recharges quickly via USB-C.
Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go.
With an array of colors, patterns, or even Disney-inspired designs to choose from, show off your personality while you're blending up something delicious on the go.
What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today.
And be sure to use the promo code AICPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code AICPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today to get the best deal ever.
And now, back to the show.
I think it's no surprise that there was a lot of Batmen in the McFarlane presentation.
Sure.
But what was something that maybe you were hoping to see from Todd or anyone else in the convention that didn't happen?
So with Todd, I never go in with any expectations because he'll throw you a curveball and he'll give you a Batman and Robin. Like, now that I've seen Batman and Robin, I want Batman Forever, obviously.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I didn't even pay attention to these NFT things because, like, I just have such disdain for that whole snake oil salesman like aspect of all of that. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not any part of this. When Funko does it, like, I'm not any part of this. I'm not buying into that. In terms of being disappointed in something that I didn't see, Jazzwares just didn't show off a lot of AEW, but I think that's sort of like their modus operandi for Comic-Con. They use the show before the pay-per-view, like the fan event, to show off their stuff. So I can't say like I was surprised, but like, they still had a presence. They had that Sting exclusive, which it's kind of a disappointing exclusive too. But like, I really like this AEW line so much. And like, I'm just like very concerned for its future. Like, they've shown us a lot of renders. And like, we were all familiar with the problems getting that stuff into stores. And I think on the major wrestling figure podcast this week, they talk about it, having trouble selling through. And I just want these figures because I feel like they are superior to Mattel. And I know that is not always a popular opinion. But if you get a good one, you'll see, like, this Ricky Starks figure I got at Burlington for $6 or whatever. Like, such a good design. It's like, I want this company to do well, both AEW and the Jazzwares AEW. And I just, you didn't see anything. Nothing new. And I think it would have been a nice place to show off something cool. And we didn't get it.
I just would have liked to have seen some, prototypes or sculpts of the previous
something
renders.
in 3D. Like, let me put my hands on it, see that it's real.
That's was mine too. So I was like, oh, here are the same ones. I think they snuck a new Scorpio Sky in there.
Yeah, in the actual display.
Why would you do that? He hasn't been on TV. Well, I guess he did pop up recently, but
he's on Collision now.
He's one of the Collision guys. Yeah,
but it was like. And here's the thing: the figure was in there, but from the way the figure was positioned, you couldn't tell if it was the Amazon one or the new one.
Yeah, because he was like on his belly or like weird pose. Yeah,
the one thing that
come on, Jeremy.
The one thing I did like though, and I'm happy that they're going the same route as Mattel and Hasbro. I think it's important for especially a company like them to have a direct to consumer website. To buy from.
How about that? The Vault.
Yeah, the Vault.
So I'm smart. I'm looking forward to that, and I think too. It seems like I don't know if they specified with the AEW releases, but I know I caught a little bit of because they actually streamed it from their account, from the Jazzwares account on Instagram. I think they were saying that like for those Star Wars Micro Squadron releases, you're going to be able to like guarantee yourself the chases by ordering from the Vault.
Huh. Well, that's a game changer. So, that is a very smart idea. Yeah.
And they're still going to be the same. They said like it's still going to be the same run count. So like if it's a 1 of 5,000 or 1 of 10,000, whatever, it's still going to be that. They're just going to make specific bundles available where like if you want all the chases and like the whole wave, like you can just order it directly from their site. However many of those that they allot for the site, they allot, and that's it. And it gives you the chance to get that. So,
well, they're definitely going to have to do that for the AEW line, because did you see that they've announced that the bunny is going to be a chase figure, not in every case?
Yeah.
That's the first time that they've done that for the line. And I don't like that precedent.
I don't like it in that it's going to be harder to get. I do like it in that she definitely would not have sold well, and I wouldn't want to have to see her for as long as I've seen Anna Jay on the pegs.
Yeah, we have around by us. We don't have too many Anna Jays. We have a lot of
Nyla.
We had a lot of Nyla.
A lot of Lance Archer.
But for in regards to female talent, the one that was surprising was we had a ton of Supreme Britt Bakers. Just like,
well, my stores don't even carry the Supremes, so I've never seen that.
Yeah, I think right now my Target still has like 6 of them. Just hanging out.
She was not a good choice for the Supreme because she has superior figures, like that Scott Hall inspired look. Yep. It's a better figure, and you can get that through the Amazon 2-pack or the single. And then the alternate look was just not alternate enough. Like, I don't know. It was just not like, I know they had to go with like names they knew were going to be there, but that was just not a good choice.
I thought her alternate look was
like
actually
interview gear. Wasn't
it's promo gear. She's in heels and she's got like slacks on.
T-shirt.
Yeah. She's in promo gear.
And she got the wrist brace like permanently on there.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, that's the one thing with those is it's always the AEW event figures specific. Are always like a specific event.
Yeah, right. But I think that in this case at least was a mistake because you don't want that if you're just like switching up the looks because she didn't have that in both looks.
Right.
I don't think.
Yep.
I just want that Punk figure. Just keep this line going because now they announced that they're doing the Walmart exclusive Ultimate Punk, which I think looks great. I don't know if that other one that got announced and we saw the renders is ever coming now. Maybe that's the general release one.
They never said what 4 is yet, which was supposed to be Punk and Thunder Rosa.
Okay, yeah. Thunder Rosa, please, for the sake of the line, don't release that figure. Like, again, the single one coming out with the Wolverine colors looks much better than the Ultimate was going to look. Or Supreme, excuse me.
Well, I think, too, with going back to the idea of them having Vault, that could explain the move that they made with Bunny. You know, force people to sign up for Vault, guaranteeing that you have access to the chases or rares.
If that's the case, then yeah, I'll do it. But like...
Well, let me see the price point first. I know the ROH figures are going to be on there. And they are in plastic-free packaging, which is, what are you doing? So that's not how collectors want this stuff.
That's another thing. Those could be the slip cases because they mentioned.
Oh, you think that's just an additional piece?
Yeah, I think it's a slip
case. Because they mentioned when you buy from Vault, again, this was during the Star Wars portion of it. They mentioned that when you buy a product from Vault, it comes in a SIOC box, comes in a shipper basically to ensure, a higher quality, collector quality, since you're ordering directly from Jazzwares. So I'm thinking that's the equivalent.
I think it's going to be like the Cody and the Logan Paul Ultimates.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine then.
Because they showed the Aleister Black had like a slipcase looking box too.
Yep. I think that's one of the other plus ups of like, ordering from Vault. They're using that as kind of their
more trash.
More
or like
Zuru,
even
like million layers.
Like the Sting exclusive.
Yeah. For me, my biggest disappointment were things that were just kind of not present. I have loved what Hasbro has done with Ghostbusters so far. Like I love all of those figures. I was really hoping, especially with like, granted, I'm sure filming has paused, based on
they're done.
They're
done. Yeah, they just made it. Well, the company that like financed it is like filing for bankruptcy, so I don't know what that's gonna do.
But they're long done with shooting.
But honestly, I was hoping,
and I think reshoots too.
I was hoping we'd get, maybe a look at. Honestly,
little sneak peek.
Honestly, I was hoping the strategy was the same that it was for the last movie, where like you have the original Ghostbusters movie figures that kind of come out prior to the new ones. I was hoping they would do that with Ghostbusters 2. Like I really want them to do like a Vigo build a figure wave and like, like.
Oh, Mattel not good enough for you?
I didn't get any of the Mattel
that old Matty Collector one?
No.
I think Hasbro's probably a little gun shy. You were right, exactly. Hasbro, after what happened with the first movie and how the toys came out and then the movie got delayed a year, I think they're probably like, well, I'm not showing anything until it's in theaters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I don't think you're going to see anything till at least there's a trailer.
Okay, fair. But it was Comic-Con. I was hoping, well, maybe New York Comic-Con.
Maybe New York, but like, definitely, or Toy Fair, but definitely not.
When is Toy Fair now?
Shock.
2 weeks before Comic-Con.
Yeah, September and October. So they're like back to back.
Okay.
And the other thing too was Indiana Jones. So, there's no word on, whether that line is continuing. I think people are making the assumption that it's like what you see is what you got at this point, but there are still some characters that, would have been awesome to have been included from.
Oh yeah, there was a shot of Indiana where his shirt was a little bit open. They haven't done that figure yet.
Yeah. I think we're.
Did they do any from the new movie?
Oh yeah. No. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we got our bases covered with Indy, but there was like
Really?
There's so much
no young
more
Indy, right?
Well, I love actually. I would love
River
to see
Phoenix
even
Indy. That I actually in the Boy
Yeah.
Scout outfit. I would actually
I want-
100% be into that.
and
There you
I
go.
love those retro ones. Like
Oh, really?
I would love to see the last two movies in retro in some form.
Uh-huh.
I still think the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for Indy should have been a refrigerator with Indiana Jones inside of it.
Man, I just watched Oppenheimer tonight. That would be the perfect like side-by-side viewing. Like, oh, could you have survived an atomic bomb in a refrigerator?
Yeah. No, I don't need crystal skull figures, but what I'm alluding to is I was
Mhm.
hoping that there would be, Molaram, any bad guy for like my action figure of Indy to actually physically fight with, because
Didn't they tease him or like something got released that shouldn't have?
probably there's probably some
didn't see
sort
that.
of
He
render.
must have been wearing a suit. Was he wearing a suit?
Yeah, he was wearing a suit.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's Indiana
He was a
Jones
bad-
and villains in suits.
He was a bad German at the time.
Because I
Yeah,
mean,
bad German.
that's the thing with the figures that's kind of unfortunate. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were doing our list. Like I love the Raiders Indy that they put out. I'm really excited to get the Last Crusade Indy and Henry,
Mhm.
but like I have nobody for them to really interact with. Like not even like the hangar pilot or hangar mechanic. Give me somebody for my.
That's why you got to get the retros.
I don't want the retros.
You got everybody you need.
No.
Listen, it's not called Random Thug in the Crystal Skull. It's Indiana Jones, all right?
I guess I was just hoping for a little bit more out of that. I wanted them to squeeze one of the other udders.
It could. I think that thing's shooting out dust at this point.
Yeah.
They've done a lot. Like I was surprised to see they did as many as they did. Somebody there asked the question, like, what's going on? And they got back a pretty generic, like, we're exploring options. Like it's not done.
I think it was Dan V. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, Dan. Dan Wiesemeyer. He's the
Mhm.
comic book artist. He did the artwork for the VHS,
yeah.
the X-Men VHS.
Dan very big on my Twitter
Yeah.
feed, my X feed. He's always popping up. He's involved.
But
in
I think
everything.
he's the one that he's a huge indie fan, and I think I saw him post about that that he talked to somebody and they gave him the PR answer. So
Well,
Yeah.
I think the fact that the last movie didn't do well is
definitely didn't help. And here I am sitting here saying I'm a huge Indiana Jones
I'd
fan,
still wanna
and I
see
haven't
it.
seen it yet. So
Wait, it didn't do well. The Indiana Jones
Broke
movie?
even.
did it break even? I mean, it didn't do.
It
They
broke
thought
even.
it would do so much.
It didn't do
better.
Flash
No.
bad. So
Oh, poor Flash! I haven't seen that yet.
I did see that.
I haven't seen that
actually
either.
I saw Flash, and I
Was it
thought
good?
it was all right.
Yeah, I was excited to see it, and I almost did, and then something happened.
We
Probably
watched
like
it all.
the
We
second
watched it
time.
all on
Well,
TikTok.
That's true. That
Remember,
is what
I posted
that
that
sort of
one.
ruined it.
I sent you that one video, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it was everywhere.
Yep, that did sort of ruin it too. For me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Remember back when Wolverine had his own movies and someone released like the whole thing,
Oh.
but the VFX wasn't
Yeah.
done? And I watched it and I was like, oh, this looks like crap. But I did see it in theaters and it wasn't much better. They should have just released it as
That was
is.
one of those like that was an infamous leak. Very big. Very big leak.
Yeah.
Anything else that anyone was particularly disappointed in before we move to the next topic?
Well, it wasn't a surprise, but it's still sad to hear that Power Rangers isn't going to have a lot going on for it until we get that new show, if that ever happens. Because especially for me, if you can see behind me, I have the Power Ranger helmets, but I have an incomplete team because there's no yellow, there's no black. And then I really wanted a green Power Ranger, a green Mighty Morphin helmet because they finally figured out what the helmet looks like. If you look on the remastered Green Ranger, it looks great. And I really want that 1-to-1 helmet to put on the shelf behind me, but it's gonna be a minute, it seems like.
Yeah. It seems like that line is at rest, on pause, whatever
On Ice Z.
So, yeah, but I mean, that's one of those things where at least like Hasbro owns that whole IP. You know, it's not like
until they don't. Like that sort of worries me too. Play hot potato with that thing. It's gonna go back to Saban.
I think he still has a piece of it as part of like
He's
their
got
deal.
A piece of everything. That guy. I'll tell you what.
I think he's like executive producer for executive producer emeritus.
Okay. That was the deal he struck. Because he bought it back from Disney, right? And then he sold it to Hasbro. Was that the lineage of that?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Not a dumb man.
I think he still gets executive producer credit on stuff.
There you go. That's where the money is.
So speaking of the money, who do you think made the biggest splash this year at the show? I have my thoughts.
I mean, if it's anybody but Hasbro, please enlighten me, because I feel like this was their show, and then everyone else was just living in their shadow.
I think even more specifically, I think the G.I. Joe team. I think what they I think what they had to show, it was kind of like a no nonsense presentation. Really, like they hit with like a few name only reveals of like big name characters, especially one that I've been hoping for a long time with Jinx. And then then they showed off the thing that everybody like. The thing about the G.I. Joe line that I have so much respect for them is they listen. So like when people say like, hey, we want more of this and less of this, and like we want this to look like this, and like give us vehicles and smaller vehicles, and they respond. And the fact that they announced the Vamp and Clutch, like one of the most iconic toy vehicles of all time, is coming to the classified line. No price is of course associated with it, but it's going to be something that's available at retail. And General Hawk, and when they have such a with very few exceptions, when you see a render, like 99.9% of the time that's the figure you're getting. Like they've had a couple of issues with some faces on the renders, but like for the most part when they show that, that's like part and parcel, that's what you're getting at the end. And I think they had a really, really strong presentation, going through like the different Hasbro ones. Like sure, the Star Wars team crushed it with the Ghost HasLab. Obviously, we talked about it. It's funded. I think the Marvel Legends team showing that the plastic free packaging is gone, and the windows are coming back, and the Build-A-Figure and the teases, one of them being Doc Ock, from like the Alfred Molina one. Like I think like each of them had like moments, but then like also the Star Wars panel had the holiday figures that everyone is very divided on.
that are my favorite. I love them.
Do you really?
That was my pleasant surprise. Oh yeah. Yes. So that was my pleasant surprise.
Really?
I love to see the variety. I love to see what they come up with. It's like one of the most creative things.
Yeah. I have all the Christmas ones so far.
Yes, same here. But it's like a guy like me who I've been collecting, like my parents started collecting me back in 83. I wasn't even born until like well after the third movie came out. But they were buying stuff for me. So like I have like literally everything. And it's like, what do you get the guy who's got everything? You get him something completely different. So this little subline just like scratches that itch so well because it's so weird and stupid.
And like Life Day Chewie, I kind of want that.
That one.
Oh yeah,
Life Day Chewie, I am 100% in for. Like that.
But like otherwise, my only Star Wars figures that I have, because as much as I love Star Wars, like you can't do everything, is Koska.
Oh yeah.
I have the Vintage Collection in the Black Series Sasha or Mercedes, but
right.
Yeah, Dave gets like, wrestling figures of wrestlers in media outside of wrestling.
Did they ever make a Triple H in that Blade line from Toy Biz?
Not that I know of.
Oh man,
we gotta look that.
That would have ruled
though.
The Chaperone, did that get toys?
But I absolutely love the Christmas figures. Like, give me all the Snowborgs.
Precious little snow porgs. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, Paul, to your point, like I think it was definitely, Hasbro commanded the most attention just because of the amount of brands that they had represented. Transformers. They had a great panel too. But yeah, I think if I had to pick like a winner with inside the winner, it would be G.I. Joe.
It's so funny that you say that because I was hearing the opposite, where it's like G.I. Joe was like, was it on Sunday? It was like very late in the show, and then people were mad that it was just like a PowerPoint presentation, and then like the Jinx reveal didn't even have a render to go along with it. So like what you saw just blew you away so much that nothing else even mattered.
Yeah, no,
I think outside of the Ghost too, they just had a Star Wars. They had a PowerPoint for Star Wars. They did have a display out.
Yeah.
As they did with G.I. Joe, but yeah, Star Wars was also just a weird PowerPoint.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them were formatted that way. I mean, even Mattel's WWE one was a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but they had like
a giant auditorium, Paul.
Like Hall H. Hall H was empty. They should get everybody in there.
But I thought Mattel WWE stuff was great too. Like,
yeah, they always do a very good job on presentation.
And I think that's the, like, who made the biggest splash? Well, with Mattel with WWE, it's like, well, they did what we thought, but like a lot of it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and unexpected, and there were some surprises and stuff that they announced that's already showing up places. Like there's
that Then Now Forever Together pack. I can't believe that it's like the logistics of how they swung that.
That is going to be that, and the 6-pack of Batmans are going to be neck and neck for the most fig swapped item of all time.
Ooh, what do you?
Because
I'm listening.
So for the 4-pack, you got Austin, you got Becky Lynch, Hogan,
Rocky Maivia.
Yeah. So for me,
and people want that Rocky Maivia.
So there's like, you want something from it. You probably don't care about Becky Lynch. I would love to have that Austin in jean shorts. So like, you're gonna see this on the shelves, and like one figure is gonna look a little weirard because like someone bought it, returned it with another figure in there.
Well, here's the thing with that Austin. I don't know if you know what that is. That's that's WrestleMania versus KO Austin.
Yeah, old man Austin.
Is it new jean short molds though?
But it's also, the T-shirt is the Dallas one, and he's old face. He's old man face.
He's got a new head sculpt.
Props to him because he looked good like in that match. So it's not like he's got gray hair. Like he's not like old Hogan compared to new Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Like it still looks like Austin. So I want that figure, but I'm not going to buy it but it might hit clearance because it's a Target exclusive, I believe.
It is a Target exclusive. What I'm hoping for, so the listing hasn't popped up yet. We've been looking for it. Apparently, our local Targets have them, but don't know where they are, sort of thing.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm hoping it's because it's been a little bit that they've done the 25% off, or what is it usually? It's like 15 off, 50, 70. 15 off 75 and 20 off 100.
Oh, you want the coupon?
I'm hoping that one of those coupons is coming up soon. Because I know a lot of the stores are doing resets. We got some new waves of stuff coming out.
If you go in the app right now, they have 20% off if you're a teacher or 20% off if you're a student. Oh. And you can stack them. So if you have some other coupons heading in there.
I could be a student.
We'd all be students.
I'm neither.
I know a teacher.
Teacher and
student.
I know
a teacher. Yeah, no, but that yeah. I mean, Mattel's presentation was awesome. There was a couple of big ones, Dave, for
new basics.
The new basic engineering. And Maddie is absolutely thrilled about that because like she can't.
Maddie Collector.
Yeah, Maddie Collector. No, Maddie Adventures in Collecting daughter. She's into she has a little collection of basics, and she's mad that none of her male action figures can do like a super kick. Like she's like, why does everyone kick forward and backward?
Can't spring for the elites for your kid?
Well, she bashes them together, and the 2.5-year-old picks them up and bashes them together, and like,
get them some $6 Samoans from the Target sale right now.
I could. Those are good figures,
my
fear is that if I get her the elites, she's gonna like love the articulation play with them so much that the basics are going to be completely out the window. So I'm trying to like tamp down.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's a
enthusiasm.
big price jump. It's like double
Yeah.
the price.
So, that and the basics are, frankly, they're more durable.
Well, honestly, once you're rolling through Target and she sees a Danhausen on the shelves, you're done with that.
Well, don't worry. You have about 3 years before that's going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully we're gonna get the Amazon one first.
100% that's what's going to happen. We're going to get the ROH
Ringside's
one
going to be
first,
out.
probably.
Ringside's going to be out at the end of the month.
Wow, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that Punk MJF set, but like after last year's Ringside sale, where I was getting like AEW figures for like $1 or whatever it was, I'm like, is this going to go on clearance? Like if I just wait till my birthday?
Blood and Guts haven't.
No, they haven't. Okay.
And that set rules.
It looks so great. It does.
So speaking of exclusives,
like you might get a little dip, but you're not going to get like the half off.
Half off. I know.
It might drop $5, $10.
Yeah.
You probably should. I don't think that one's going to sell out. I think that's going to be one of those like ones that they kind of just have perpetually.
Yes, and I think that's already what's happening. Like, because it's like, oh, the next order's coming in, like next order. But I just dropped 100 on that the Power Town, Matt and Brian.
You got those?
Same.
Yeah, I think they. Well, it's funny because I got to see these figures in person, and I don't care about those other characters they've done. But I like Matt and Brian, and I'm not waiting for those Super 7s coming anytime soon. So
the Power Towns are
they're
for real.
ridiculous. They're ridiculously good.
Are they heavy? People keep saying how heavy they are.
They have
some weight.
They feel,
but it's not like.
Go ahead.
Feels like
I was gonna say I feel like they're definitely heavier than what we're used to with other stuff, but it's not like it's not like picking up an LJN.
No, they feel closer to a Storm Collectibles figure,
or in like
in that kind of that they have. There's like the texture to them feels like premium,
or even like a NECA.
Yeah, I like that a lot when you get that nice texture on the skin. Yep. Yeah, that's one great thing about the 3D printing or the 3D modeling that everybody does now. You can get that in there.
Yeah, and these.
But yeah, those are fantastic.
They do feel premium. I don't know if heavy's the right word. The only one that I've gotten hands on was Magnum TA. But I was impressed. They do have a little bit of rigidity to them in terms of like their articulation, but as Matt and Brian have said, countless times, like they look great posed on a shelf.
Yeah, their whole like sort of justifying like not moving them, I call BS on that because like these are still toys at the end of the day. And
that was with the whole legs.
Yeah, no,
right.
I just mean in terms of like
but
their
even then, after they were fixed,
the legs now that they're fixed though are
they move.
They're great.
They move without a problem. It's just
But is it like my Super 7 Rangers where I put the leg forward to sit and it snapped right off because it's hard plastic against hard plastic?
No,
they changed it so it wasn't hard plastic against hard plastic.
Good. Somebody send Brian a memo on that. All my Super 7s are breaking.
Are they really?
Yeah, I like just put him. I had a Green Ranger. I put him in a sitting pose. It snapped right off because it's just like hard against hard. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have still sitting in the box. I haven't opened it yet. I have the Bruce Lee, Warrior, the one with the soft goods jacket and tank top. It looks awesome. Like I'm happy with the way that like the faces came out and everything. I'm not quite ready to open it yet.
No, yeah, it's safer in there. Very quickly, while we're talking about either surprises or disappointments, Super 7, their big thing was the Cat's Lair for Thundercats. We didn't see the Simpsons. We didn't see TMNT. What's going on with all those licenses?
Yeah, we saw the Cat's Lair and we saw the new Misfits figures.
That's it.
Which I'm excited for the Misfits.
I'm just glad they're doing those He-Man style figures again. I love the Savage World. I think that's what they're called, Savage World.
With the ones with Funko.
Yeah.
That was Funko.
But I'm pleased as punch. If Glenn Danzig was ever meant to have an action figure of himself, it's definitely on a He-Man body. But yeah, no, they're Paul, you're right. There wasn't really a big presence when it came to. There was no presence.
Nothing, not anything. And those Simpson figures were like five series deep in pre-orders. Mm-hmm. They just teased Marge and Lisa, which is what people have been asking for, begging for, like the classic family. And like we don't have pre-orders on those yet. Like getting a little scary.
It's clearly it's been a little rocky for them. I mean, they've lost a couple of figures now to not having enough orders, right? They lost that
Tiger Zord. That was a
Tiger
surprise.
Zord, Madame Woe, the Rescuers.
The brothers. The Rescuers, Disney license not getting enough orders.
So, but
Gallows and
Anderson.
Yeah, Good Brothers. I'm fine with that one. Like, I don't know who they thought they were going to get to buy that second set, but got to try, I guess.
I have the first ones. They're fine.
They're fine. You're going to get elites of them. Well, I don't know. At the rate they're getting TV time, maybe not, but.
So, but I think that was also interesting what their focus was. But, at the same time, they were focusing on the stuff that they had to show.
Yeah, I guess that's
the Vac Metal Silverhawks. I know were a little controversial. The fact that they're doing those.
Oh yeah, are people mad?
It kind of seems like it.
Have your cake and collect it too.
After saying they did say that it was not feasibly possible to do that. Mm-hmm. So
that was the old technology. There's new technology now.
It is what it is, right? I personally, the Silverhawks thing is not my bag. So
no, me neither. I just enjoy the drama of it more than anything else, because people were told you got to have this because you can't have it the other way, and they're like, fine, I'll buy it. Now it's like, just kidding, buy it again.
Yeah, I think I saw people saying that they should have an exchange program where if you bought the original, you should be able to trade it in.
It's only fair.
That's not how business works.
Well, listen, whose company? What is it? It's like, we're changing the way business is done.
It's not a toy company.
It's not a toy company. Yeah, I think it's Elon at this point. He's changing it for the worse.
Yeah, Super 7's now branded as X. That's X Toys. No,
I'm sure another company owns that. Someone in the 90s had to try doing like X
taking it to the extreme.
Probably the Adult Superstars company. That was Soda, right? Or that was like another Jerry company.
Oh, man,
somebody referenced him as doing those figures on X.
I still can't. Is it Zeet or is it Xeet?
Well, so that's not real. that thing that was edited, or that was Photoshop. But I'm sure we're not far away from that.
It was still really good. Fake or not.
It just makes me sad. I love the
I think
little
that
bird.
name's taken off, though.
What, calling it a Zeet?
What name?
Yeah.
I don't think it ever. I think that was somebody playing a joke, and we just all believed it because everything else in this timeline is so insane.
Yeah, but I think like people are actually using it in the kind of pop culture sphere.
Well, sure, because it makes fun of how stupid this all is.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If you're listening, Zeet us.
Yeah, please Zeet us.
Tell us what you think.
Zeet us at zip.
So
is this where we pound the subscribes?
No, we don't have Q&A.
This
whole thing has just been a conversation. Bill, you've been very quiet. I feel like you have some thoughts about.
I usually am.
Bill's the straight man in this.
Paul does all the talking.
Yeah, I do the talking. Yeah.
The fact check. I'm not allowed to touch my computer during our recordings.
Listen. Like I said, if you want to update your technology, you're free
to reference my Star Wars Insiders. That's the best I can do for you right now.
You have it all inside your head, though. You don't even need.
Oh, do I? I don't.
You
know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I should tell you. I should have given you guys a disclaimer. If it comes to wrestling, I'm dead silent.
Got it.
Well,
if it comes to what else?
We have our soft spots in terms of knowledge.
I just keep getting
Power Rangers. Quiet.
I just keep getting distracted by the vintage collection display that nobody listening to this gets to hear.
No.
That's okay.
Well,
but if you follow us on TikTok, you can see
That's right. You can see a nice little square of it on TikTok.
And
a lot of people always ask for a room tour, but the room in its current state is kind of messy. And I myself have 2 kids, and it's just impossible to get down here to tidy it up. But
Bill's always afraid someone's going to break in and rob him if they know.
That's the other thing too.
If you want to see weird AI versions of Paul's legs, and a square of Bill's display,
people think it's real. I keep getting people on YouTube being like, "Oh, you have an awesome setup there." I'm like,
"You're in a cave? What are you doing in that cave?
Why are you squatting the whole time? You're squatting?
Doesn't that hurt? Squatting like that?"
I gotta say, the one where you were on the toilet really it threw me off.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like it.
You should have seen the ones I didn't use. I do like 70 versions and pick the best one.
Because I scroll through and I love the way that you guys present your show on TikTok. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
But like since you started doing the AI ones, like I'll which is the point of it, right? The TikTok, then watch it several times, be like, what the did I just see?
Yeah.
So like I was like, is he on he's on a toilet? I hate it. And scroll. Gone. Next video.
I'll send you some of the ones that didn't make the cut because it got a lot worse. A lot worse than that. I'll at you, so you have to see them.
You'll zeet them to me.
I'll zeet you. I'll zeet them right at you. Look at this zeet. It's great.
I was quietly looking up at X Toys and seeing if X Toys ever existed, and they did. X Toys did exist. They did Wild Wild West.
Oh
my god!
And they did the Saturday Night Live figures. They did Goat Boy.
Oh my god! I remember that.
Do you remember these? That was X Toys.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? I was gonna say X reminds me of Shocker Toys because they did something like Shocker X or something. Do you remember Shocker Toys?
I don't remember Shocker Toys.
Jeff Beckett. Oh my god, we're gonna have to do a whole episode someday about Jeff Beckett and Shocker Toys. Like you'll go down a rabbit hole you'll never escape.
I'm making
from
a note
if you Google this name. Yeah, I won't say anything more. I want you to discover this on your own. The wonder that is this man and this quote unquote company that has swindled so many friends for so many years.
Oh boy. All right, I have a note. Before we kind of we kind of wrap up here. Now that San Diego Comic-Con is in the rearview mirror and kind of looking towards the rest of the year, that the next 2 big events are Toy Fair and New York Comic-Con in the fall. What are we hoping to see at a New York Comic-Con? What's something that you're hoping gets revealed at either Toy Fair or Comic-Con? Because like we said, they're like weeks apart from each other. So,
I don't know. I feel like we have enough, right? We can just stop production of toys at this point. Yeah, I feel like. I mean, how many X-Men animated Wolverines do I need? At least one more, but after that, no more. Come on.
They still haven't made him in like his his jacket, like the jacket and jeans,
like the Mondo one.
That would be great, Marvel Legend.
Well, they will, I'm sure. This reminds me of when they did X-Men Evolution toys and they really tried to do like every iteration of Logan. Like he came with the bike and he was in his civvies. And like that was a weird time.
Yeah. They
I think I would like to see, at least at New York, I'd like to see some physical copies of the retro Phantom Menace figures.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting.
Happening.
Yeah.
Who are they doing? They have a character list?
They have a character list.
6 of them, right?
Baby Anakin?
6. They got Qui-Gon and not Anakin. They got Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Maul, Padme, Battle Droid, and
Jar Jar.
who did I leave out? Jar Jar.
Oh, they're doing Jar Jar, but not Anakin?
They're doing Jar Jar. No Anakin
And it's not a box set. Damn. They're individual. So I'm 100% buying.
Yeah.
I haven't gone into any of the retros, but I'm 1000% buying Jar Jar Binks. Like,
do they come with a Comtech reader?
No, because they're based on the
they're
Kenner.
retro.
Well, think about what a retro Comtech reader would be, like a walkie-talkie or something.
It's one of those. It's a backpack that you put on the back of the figure and just push the buttons.
There it is, like those Toy Biz,
Toy Biz
Marvel figures.
X-Men, and those and
Venom. That was
G.I. Joe
brains,
right?
Yeah.
No, those would be.
That's
exciting.
like the Jax Titantron.
Guys, do you want to start a toy company with us?
What are we gonna make, Paul?
I feel like we should do it. Let's just do it. Let's just start a toy company. We can have Paul Harding sculpt our stuff.
I think he's too busy at this point.
We'll pay him more. We'll pay him in love.
We'll pay him in.
I can afford love.
Yeah, we've got a lot of love to
Yay.
give.
Break his legs.
Jesus, Bill.
You break his love. Break his legs.
Everybody tries to start a toy company now. That's like the new thing. But like,
Sure.
Unparalleled Universe, he was successful with his mascot Odious figure with his Kickstarter. But
Zombie.
Shartimus Prime was not so successful when he tried
Well,
to do
listen,
his toy line. So
here's why we will be successful, because we are a student of the game. We see what works, we see what doesn't work, and we're not afraid to copy what works.
I mean,
Sure.
I'm a big proponent of the old adage, amateurs borrow, professionals steal. So
Oh wow, that's nice. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
There
I
you
was
go.
going to say that's got a t-shirt.
amateurs
go.
borrow.
Let's just bring back Pogs. That's easy enough.
Oh, that's the first thing we do. Pogs,
Alf
just
is
of our
back
faces.
in Pog form.
He's back. Pogs are, I mean, with this trading card boom, I can't believe that Pogs didn't even try to come back.
Yeah.
That's a NECA thing. He should have packed Pog with all his Elf and whatever figures.
Could have Ninja Turtles Pogs.
Yeah.
A shredder
You're telling me
slammer.
Ninja Turtle Pogs wouldn't sell like hotcakes? Like, give them away in
this
cereal
market
boxes.
today, yes.
Yeah, I want that Pog maker. Make my own Pogs. Oh my god,
It can't be that difficult to make Pogs.
we're gonna find out because that's our first item from the Reluctant in Adventures collectibles store.
Pogs.
Reluctant.
The
Adventures.
Reluctant Adventures.
Oh, Reluctant Adult Adventures. That sounds
That's
spicy.
you got to take the adult out of that one. Just Reluctant Adventures.
Oh no, it stays.
That
It
sounds like a
stays.
late night Cinemax show.
That's
so
right.
no.
Up all night.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, a Reluctant Adult Adventures. I guess
go.
unzips. You know, like
Yeah. Sound effect here. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Reluctant Adult Podcast. Tell everyone where they can hear from more
I
from you.
literally was just about to say the same thing, Paul.
I know. I saw your mouth start to
Damn
purse
it.
with that.
Damn it. So you can find us at Adventures in No.
How many
subscribe
versions of
button.
Instagram are you on at this point?
Just the two.
You got
Instagram
two, yeah.
Threads.
You ever get that first
Oh
one
yeah,
back?
we got that first one back.
Oh, what happened?
We still have no
Oh.
idea.
Oh, you didn't find out what we did to you
No,
guys?
no.
Okay, that's good.
That was the rivalry.
Bravo. Well done.
Uh-huh.
Bravo.
Uh-huh. Ha ha!
So tell.
It was the long game.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. So tell our listeners. That's right, our listeners, Paul and Bill. All six of us.
Seeing double. 4 crusties.
Where can we hear the Reluctant Adult Podcast? Where can we find you guys on the social medias?
So you can find us at @PixelDan on Twitter. That's where we spend most of our time.
X.
He hates us. Yeah, just type in the Reluctant Adult Podcast. Will come up. If you want to see visual stuff, Instagram is good. TikTok. We usually post the same videos on each platform. New episode every Sunday afternoon or whenever I can get it ready. We record Saturday, try to get it up the next day, so it's nice and fresh, piping hot right out of the oven. You can follow me on Twitter @FeetMittens. That's my personal account. I gave up on doing a Reluctant Adult I gave up on the podcast Twitter because Twitter's hard to break into. You got to buy it apparently to get people to see your tweets or your zeets. Mm-hmm. Bill, you can just come to his house and he'll show you his toys in person.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. What a ride it's been.
Dave and Bill are sharing a lot of the same energy.
Cut from the
It's so
same
funny.
cloth.
We're definitely like, yeah, I know. It's funny. You were talking earlier before the show about how similar like our stories are. And it does. We're very like mirror image here. It's very funny. I even got the mustache too.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah, this was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's definitely do this again. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Dave, do you want Bill to send us home?
Ooh.
What?
Yeah, Bill can send us
home, Bill.
Have a good night, guys. I have to wake up in 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.